Welcome back to the Action Zone. You're watching Undisputed Wrestling Desk, where WWE comes alive. Subscribe and get ready for the latest updates. They tried to bury this story. They tried to hide the emotion, the pain, and the truth. But now, it's out. What happened behind the scenes after Jimmy Uso's shocking departure from WWE is something that every fan deserves to know. It wasn't just a storyline twist or a business decision. It was a moment that shook the bloodline to its core and left Roman Reigns broken in a way we've never seen before. This isn't about wrestling politics or corporate statements. This is about family, loyalty, and heartbreak. The news that broke the bloodline. The official WWE announcement painted Jimmy Uso's exit as mutual and amicable, but multiple insiders say that couldn't be further from the truth. According to those close to the situation, Jimmy was pushed out after a series of creative disagreements that had been simmering for months. He reportedly clashed with WWE officials during a meeting about the future of the Bloodline storyline, not out of ego, but because he wanted to protect the integrity of his family's legacy. Jimmy wasn't fighting for spotlight or money. He was fighting for respect. Unfortunately, in WWE's corporate world, standing up for yourself often comes with consequences. Roman Reigns finds out the truth. When the news broke, When these broke, Roman Reigns didn't hear it from management. He didn't get a call from the company he's carried for years. He found out the same way the rest of the world did, through social media and wrestling news outlets. Imagine that. The tribal chief, the face of the company, blindsided by the firing of his own cousin. According to sources backstage, Roman's reaction was pure shock. At first, he didn't say a word. He just stared at his phone in disbelief. Then, the silence turned to rage. Roman reportedly threw his phone across the room, sending it crashing into the wall. But what came next silenced everyone around him. He broke down. The unshakable, stoic leader we see on television was in tears. "He was my brother," Roman kept repeating, overcome by emotion. For a man who has built his entire on-screen identity around strength and control, that moment was utterly human. The locker room in mourning. Those close to the bloodline say the locker room atmosphere that night was unlike anything they'd ever seen. Paul Heyman, usually the voice of reason, reportedly left the room in tears after witnessing Roman's breakdown. Jey Uso, Jimmy's twin brother, was hit even harder. The two have been inseparable since birth, sharing not just DNA, but dreams, triumphs, and a bond forged through decades of struggle. Jey reportedly sat alone in the parking lot for hours after the news, unable to process it. "It's like losing half of myself," he told a friend. Meanwhile, Solo Sikoa, the youngest of the group, was seen pacing back and forth backstage, visibly emotional. Witnesses said he kept refreshing his phone, hoping Jimmy would text him back, but no message came. The aftermath nobody saw coming. While the bloodline was in chaos, WWE headquarters was focused on something else entirely: damage control. Internal sources say that executives were immediately instructed to contain the story to protect the company's public image. Merchandise featuring Jimmy was quietly pulled from stores, promotional videos were re-edited to minimize his presence, and creative teams began rewriting months of plans overnight. WWE didn't hold a tribute. They didn't address the emotion. They just moved on. The human side of the story was buried under press releases and marketing meetings. To them, it was business as usual. But to Roman, Jey, Solo, and the entire Samoan wrestling family, it was betrayal. Why Jimmy's exit hurts more than you think. Jimmy Uso wasn't just another performer on the roster. Behind the curtain, he was the glue that kept the bloodline together. While Roman carried the spotlight, Jimmy handled the unseen work, mentoring younger talent, resolving backstage tensions, and fighting for his family's fair treatment. He was respected not only for his skill, but for his integrity. Fellow wrestlers describe him as the guy who always checked on people, always encouraged those struggling with pressure, and always treated everyone, from main eventers to crew members, with the same respect. Losing him wasn't just losing a tag partner or faction member, it was losing the heartbeat of a family. The unraveling of a dynasty. Without Jimmy, the bloodline's dynamic has shifted dramatically. The chemistry that made them WWE's most compelling faction came from real family ties, bonds that can't be faked or replaced by creative writing. Sources say that Roman has struggled to focus during rehearsals and that the mood among the group is heavy, even off camera. The smiles are gone. The laughs are gone. What remains is a family trying to stay united while quietly grieving one of their own. Even fans have noticed the difference. The passion that once radiated through every segment now carries a shadow of sadness. The fans fight back. If WWE thought fans would simply move on, they were wrong. Within hours of the announcement, social media erupted with hashtag Justice for Jimmy Uso, a movement demanding transparency about what really happened. Fans began sharing clips of Jimmy's best matches and emotional promos, celebrating his legacy and calling out the company's silence. Wrestling fans, across promotions and fan bases, came together to honor the man who helped redefine tag team wrestling. Even wrestlers from rival companies have quietly shown support, proving that Jimmy's influence transcends corporate boundaries. What this means for the future of the Bloodline, and possibly Roman Reigns himself, now hangs in the balance. Roman's contract ensures he'll remain in WWE for some time, but sources say he's been questioning what comes next. Can he continue to give everything to a company that showed so little care for his real family? Can the Bloodline story ever feel authentic again without one of its founding pillars? These are the questions haunting both Roman and the fans who've lived this story with him for years. The human side of wrestling. It's easy to forget that behind the lights, pyro, and scripted promos, there are real people with real emotions. Jimmy Uso's departure and Roman Reigns' breakdown are reminders that wrestling isn't just about characters. It's about human beings who sacrifice their bodies and hearts for the audience. Jimmy gave his all to WWE, and the least the company could have done was show him respect on his way out. Instead, they chose silence. A legacy that can't be erased. No matter how hard WWE tries to rewrite history, they can't erase what Jimmy Uso built. His legacy lives on in every tag team that steps into the ring, every fan who chants Uso, and every wrestler he inspired along the way. He may be gone from the company, but his spirit remains part of its DNA. The Bloodline may never be the same, but its foundation, built on love, loyalty, and family, still belongs to the Usos. Final thoughts. What happened behind the scenes isn't just a scandal, it's a tragedy. A story of a man who stood by his values, a family that gave everything, and a company that forgot what loyalty truly means. Jimmy Uso deserved better. Roman Reigns deserved honesty, and the fans deserved the truth. No matter how WWE spins it, one thing is clear. You can silence a statement, but you can't silence the bond of family. The Bloodline will endure, not because of corporate storytelling, but because real love and brotherhood can't be written out of history.